The topic is transmission media. What is transmission media? Transmission media is a pathway that carries the information from sender to receiver. Transmission media makes transmission of electronic signals from one computer to another computer. These electronic signals are binary pulses, that is 0 and 1. What are the characteristics of transmission media? The first is cost, second is installation requirement, third is bandwidth, fourth is baseband, fifth is broadband, sixth is attenuations, and seventh is immunity from electromagnetic interferences. Now first we will discuss the cost. Purchase decision of any networking component at its cost. Cost is more expensive. It depends upon application and standard of the resources. Next is installation requirement. Transmission media require skilled labor to install. This increase cost of network. Before installation, to prepare actual physical layout of network. Next is bandwidth. Bandwidth is a measure of the capacity of a medium to transmit data. Data transmission rates are bits that can be transmitted per second. Bandwidth of cable depends on length of cable. A short cable can have greater bandwidth than a long cable. For example, an Ethernet LAN can transmit 10 million bits per second and has a bandwidth of 10 megabits per second. Next is baseband. Baseband devotes the entire capacity of the medium to one communication channel. It is most common mode of operation. Most local area networks function is baseband mode. In baseband, signaling can be analog or a digital. This figure shows a baseband. Next is broadband. Broadband enables two or more communication channels to share the bandwidth of the communication medium. See the figure shows broadband. Attenuations. Attenuation is a measure of how much a signal weakness as it travels to a medium. It decides the cable length when the signal strength falls below certain limits. Then at receiving station, noise may appear. Repeaters are used to regenerate signals. And the last is characteristic is immunity from electromagnetic interferences. Electromagnetic interferences consist of outside electromagnetic noise that distorts the signal in a medium. It is interfering the signals and makes difficult for computer to decode the signal. For example, in computer network, large number of cables are located close together. Therefore, crosstalk is a significant problem in network. Now next is types of transmission media. There are the two types of transmission media. One is a bounded media and second is unbounded media. Bounded media, also known as wired media, in which signals are confined to a specific path using the wire or a cable. For example, coaxial cable, twisted pair cable, and fiber optic cable is an example of bounded media. Now next is unbounded media. Unbounded media, also known as wireless media, in which the source and destination does not have any physical connection between them. Data is sent through air which does not make it bound to a channel. This is known as unbounded. For example, microwave link satellite is an example of unbounded media. Now first we discuss a coaxial cable. Now see the figure shows a coaxial cable. Coaxial is called by this name because it contains two conductors that are parallel to each other. Copper is used in this as a center conductor, which can be solid wire or a standard one. It is supported by PVC installation, a sheet which is encased in an outer conductor of metal foil, braid or both. Outer metallic wrapping is used as a shield against noise and as the second conductor which completes the circuit. The outer conductor is also encased in an insulating sheets. The outermost part is the plastic cover which protects the whole cable. Now the baseband of this coaxial cable, this is a 15 ohm coaxial cable which is used for digital transmission. It is mostly used for LAN. Baseband transmits a signal or at a time with very high speed. The major drawback is that it needs amplification after every 1000 feet. Broadband This uses analog transmission on standard cable television cabling. It is a transmit several simultaneous signals using different frequencies. It covers a large area when compared with baseband coaxial cable. There are the two types of coaxial cable. One is a thin net and thick net. Thin net type of cable is a light and flexible cabling medium that is inexpensive and easy to install. It falls under the RG58 family, which has 50 ohm independence. Thin net is 0.25 inches, that is 6 mm in thickness. Thin net cable reliably transmit a signal from 185 meters. Thick net, this type of cable is a thicker than thin net. It is about 0.5 inches in diameter. It is a thick, it does not bend, it is difficult to work with thick net. It has thick center core, it can carry more signals and larger distance. It can transmit a signal approximately 500 meters. It is also called standard Ethernet cable. This is a cable is more expensive. Now what are the advantages of coaxial cable? Now first is bandwidth is high, used in long distance telephone lines, transmits digital signal at very high rate of 10 Mbps, much higher nodes immunity, data transmission without distortion, the span to longer distance at higher speed as they have better shading when compared to twisted pair cables. Now what are the disadvantages of coaxial cable? Now first drawback of this cable is signal cable failure can fail the entire network. Next one is difficult to install and expensive when compared with twisted pair. And last drawback of this cable, if the shield is imperfect, it can lead to grounded loop. Now these are the drawbacks of coaxial cable.